Hey everybody, we know from previous classes and discussions that FedNow allows for financial institutions the ability to give their account holders the ability to send and receive credit transfers, and also the ability to offer requests for payment messages. Another type of transfer that the FedNow service will support is transfers between participating financial institutions. This is between financial institutions, okay? These would be transfers that could be either on behalf of their respondents or their own internal purposes for liquidity management. Well, at least that's a great example, liquidity management. See, liquidity management transfers, or LMTs, well, LMTs, these are FI credit transfers. You will see them as a PAX 009 message or a PAX 09 message that support FedNow participants' instant payment liquidity needs and will be available when FedWire fund service is not in operation. So think of it as an alternative to FedWire for funding your master account and liquidity management. I have to stress these are credit transfers between financial institutions, and these transfers will take place between the master accounts of our two participants, or between the participant's master account and, say, a joint account that backs another private sector instant payment service. Hint, hint, more of that to come as we go through this particular class. Now, there is an option where financial institutions will be able to participate in the FedNow service for the sole purpose of supporting liquidity. If you want to, you can choose to just be part of FedNow for supporting liquidity management transfers. This allows a financial institution to transfer funds to support certain payment system interbank liquidity needs as a standalone service without enabling their capabilities within the FedNow service. It could happen. It's a possibility. Think of a banker's bank, maybe a corporate credit union that doesn't receive payments to individual account holders, but does provide services to be able to support their community banks, to be able to support their member credit unions. Let's go ahead and look a little more into settlement services for financial institutions. We already see in some offerings from the Federal Reserve Financial Services the use of correspondent-respondent relationships. Like over there in the ACH world, the FedNow service does support correspondent/respondent relationships. Yeah, correspondent-respondent relationships. What? Okay, that means that the FedNow respondents will be able to settle transactions in the master account of their correspondent. And the correspondent financial institutions with routing numbers that are enabled for the settlement participation type will be able to receive real-time notices of those debits and credits. Wait, I thought this was just a credit push system. We're talking about liquidity management transfers here, not the actual FedNow instant credit transfer. I also want you to know that in this case, there will also be able to query the FedNow service for reports. We're going to go into reports a lot later. And as we discussed in previous classes though, routing numbers may be enabled for multiple participant types. It's based on your preferences or your profile. Well, a correspondent will not be required to have a FedNow participant profile in order to be able to provide settlement services to the respondents. Very important to note right there, okay? Not required to be able to provide settlement services to the respondents. In this situation, financial institutions will be able to settle their FedNow service-enabled respondents' activity in their own master accounts. The correspondent institutions will be able to access their respondents' FedNow activity in intraday and end-of-day reports of the existing Fed systems. Do note, Enabling a FedNow profile will enable access to real-time transaction information and FedNow reports. Let's get back to it though. All of this access, all of this reporting, it's critical. It's critical for the settlement and the reconciliation process. And well, we want to keep things as simple as we can in a singular class, but of course we're going to have a class that's going to go into settlement reporting and reconciliation later in the course. For now, let's just focus on what we got to focus on. We're not done with our configurations yet though. As we have seen, FedNow offers really a lot of customization and options when it comes for implementation. This is a key aspect of how FedNow is going to work. It's a key aspect of how FedNow can be flexible when it comes to the configuration of the participant profiles. Now, participating financial institutions will be able to control the capabilities and messaging assigned for each routing number, and you have the ability to make adjustments to meet the needs as the volumes and the usages rise and expand over time. As this thing grows, you're going to have the flexibility and want that flexibility. And now it's actually time to get a little bit more flexible and end this class, because for now, class dismissed.